It's Newcastle United versus Tottenham. Not Tottenham. It's Newcastle United versus Arsenal. It might be a preload to Newcastle versus Tottenham in the Carabao final. Can Newcastle United beat Arsenal and get to the final? Find out here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Brilliant from Sham. And now Murphy could take on the shot. Fabian Sham
Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. How are you all doing? I wonder if you're feeling like how I am. I'm feeling a bit nervous, but it's a good nervous. It's not a daunting nervous. I'm thinking like, you know what? It's time. You just know it's that time. You know we're we're on the verge of something great. We're on the verge of something good here at Newcastle United, and yeah, man, I'm all revved up. I'm all ready for the game. How are you guys doing? Let me know what you guys are up to. Let me know where you guys are listening from. Just adjusting my mic, making sure everything's clear. I thought everything would be clear when I got on, but it's all good. We're all right. Guys, let me know where you guys are listening from. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. And are you ready? Are you guys ready like I am for this semi-final, for the second leg against Arsenal? How are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling confident? Do let me know. And as always, folks, as you enter, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let me know how you're doing. Just making sure that I've got. All right, good. How are you guys doing? Let me know what you guys are feeling already. Got our Mr. Consistent Jordy C. Hope you're doing well, sir. Always good to see you flash up on the comments. Evening, mate. Before we start on the Arsenal match, can I remind you of my Bournemouth vibes about? You are so right. You and and I forgot the gentleman's name, Magpie something. We're both very, very right about that. And what was it about it? Was it just vibes, or did you have a feeling of that, man, you saw something in the performances, you saw something in the game? Do let me know. Because speaking of the game, guys, I was thinking to myself today, how am I gonna do tonight's show? Because I had I had a bit of a review lined up from the Fulham game, and I was going to bring it onto the Arsenal game as I usually do, but then I kind of thought back to myself because I heard the Eddie Howe interview where I sort of agreed with him, and they were asking him questions, obviously in his pre-match conference to the Arsenal game. They were also asking him about the Fulham game, and has that affected how you're thinking? What was your thinking? What you reflecting on that Fulham game, and how's it going to impact what you're doing going forward for the Arsenal game? And he was like, it's been it's 3 or 4 days between the games. This game, obviously the Arsenal game, is very, very, very important. So we haven't gone into like real in-depth analysis. It was a bad game. We've moved on. We have to move on and we need the fan support and all that kind of stuff. And said, you know what, this is like, in our minds, this is a totally different game now, where we're doing things, we've forgotten what's previously happened at the Fulham game. I'm kind of extending what he's saying, but he was basically saying, bad game, we have to draw the line, move on quick, because we have to get this game over the line. We can't allow the bad performances. We know we've done wrong. We're going to rectify it. We have to move on. And I kind of agreed with that. How does that impact my show? You ask. Well, it kind of made me think like, and it's silly. I'm still gonna look at the game and kind of look at things, but I was just thinking, man, I want us, and we all will. Obviously, we can myself to go in the game, and as I've been all week, confident, like just feeling like confident, going strong. Yes, results haven't gone our way. Performances have been great, but we're 2-0 up. St James's Park is under the lights. We've got to put it through. We've got to get it across the line. No matter what Arsenal's form is, they could have beaten City 10-1. Newcastle still have to beat Arsenal at St James's Park. I mean, beat Arsenal and just get to that final. Not just get to that final and win, but obviously get to that final. So that was like, you know what? Because I guess I was reviewing some of the game from the Fulham game, and some of the, especially the second half, because the first half was okay for me, Jordy Z. I got your comment up here, but then the second half, I was like, man, sheesh, we can't be doing this on Wednesday. So that was on my mind, but I'm going to look at it a little bit, kind of have an overview. I had clips and stuff, and I might go over the goals and stuff like that, and I'll just read over my comments and stuff like that. But the more I was doing it, the more I was like, nah, man, this is. You guys let me know if you want to go in depth of it. We can. I just didn't want to. I'm just like, I need us to. We have to win this game. Like you're saying, Jordy, I just think the Bournemouth manager and the Fulham managers are very good and similar in a way. They're excellent. And actually, I've got to, because I'm actually, before I go into the review of that Fulham game and go to the Arsenal game, I'm going to go and just kind of look at various news from Newcastle news, because the stadium stuff. I haven't talked to you guys since Thursday, obviously. And there's just been tons of stuff. Obviously, the transfer windows ended, so I wanted to review that. But speaking of the managers and stuff like that, there was a little clip from Guardiola talking about how football has changed a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw it with Bournemouth, how it, and he name checked Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brighton, Liverpool in terms of the directness of play. He's got a fire in his eyes. I think he's thinking about next year. Guardiola, that whole kind of encounter of Arsenal. I don't know if you saw the other clip where they told him, the journalist told him, "Hey, did you see Miles Lewis Skelly doing that? When there's that thing, that celebration, that Haaland celebration." And Guardiola didn't know at the time, but when he told him in the press conference, you can see him like in deep thought about it, and it was like, "Okay, that's good they did that. That's good they did that. Like, don't worry, we're gonna get you next time." So I'm already thinking about next year's season, but this season, this game, we're here now, present. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, Fulham's manager, Iraola, and obviously Antonio Silva are phenomenal managers as well. So, and Graham Potter nearly got one over Chelsea yesterday as well. Unfortunately, didn't. But you know what? So it's a league just full of incredible managers and teams as well. Right. Yeah. And he said, I'm nervous about tomorrow's game. Yes. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm nervous about tomorrow's game. And like I said to you, I'm not. I hope you're not, Jordy's. I hope you're not getting Fulham Bournemouth vibes. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the nervousness is more like the PSG vibes. You know, that we can. I'm like, let's see what we can do. But before we go into it, guys, before I go into the just review a little bit of the that Fulham game, and we talk about the Arsenal game, I'm gonna go over a few of the news that's happened during the week for Newcastle. There's a lot of stuff going on as well. There's been tons of stuff going on, really. We don't know how much I can, speaking of what Hal was saying, how much in depth you can go for all of these things. But. As you guys, I'm sure, would have seen, unless you're living under a rock, there's been a number of exclusives. This is obviously from Luke Edwards from the Telegraph. There was also one from Craig Hope on the Daily Mail. And because I can't get behind. I haven't paid behind the wall for most of them because I wasn't Telegraph before. But that's like £25 a month, and I just want Newcastle United news, and it's too much. But I think NUFC blog got some information from the Telegraph, so we'll talk about it. But there has been, it seems as though, from what the Telegraph and Luke Edwards is reporting, I don't know if, Craig Hope said something different about what the stadium might look like, and we'll talk about that as well. But there seems to be, this has kind of come out where they've said essentially that yes, the new stadium will be in Leazes Park, and what you guys can see from the picture is that it's still very much close to, it's literally adjacent to where the old stadium was. So it's going to be is still going to be a new stadium, I think. I don't know if they're going to tear down what St. James's Park is now and build this new stadium. They would have to, I assume, and make it into a 70,000 seater. And I'm not no architect, but I can see, I would imagine that 70,000 seater will still have an opportunity to expand on it because obviously it's gone even a little bit deeper into Leeds Park. There's been a number of other information being revealed through some of our ITKs and stuff about what this stadium could entail, hotels and stuff like that. It's about time we had some hotels. We can do a Chelsea and start selling assets to ourselves to get over PSR maybe. I laugh, but we actually don't have any assets. We sold our academy before. Obviously, we've got an academy now, but that was crazy. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? They've obviously put it into Leeds Park. They've kept it where it is, not in terms of location-wise, because it sounds like the owners of the board. Well, this is what the board have recommended. I think whether the owners take it on board is a different thing. And where they don't want to move it from the city centre itself, obviously, and to at least keep that side of things, to keep St. James's Park, or to keep the stadium. I don't know if it will be called St. James's Park when they build a new stadium. That's another thing. And keep it in the location of where obviously the fans, the locals, everybody knows where it's to be. But obviously the compromise is they still build a new stadium, which is what it's going to be. So what's you guys' thoughts on it? What's you guys' feelings? My initial feeling, before I go to the comments, my initial feeling is I want to know more. I want to know what are they compromising on if they do this particular plan. So if their initial plan to build a new stadium somewhere else, for instance, where there's a bigger space, maybe where they're going to have plans to have, maybe the academy nearby, which is what I think the Man City Stadium has. Like, what were they compromising by putting it there? Is what I'm curious about. But I want to see what you guys are thinking. So I'm kind of in the unknown. I'd like to know more. That's my initial thoughts about it. Aaron Cave, good to see you again. Another regular here. Evening, Philip. Evening to you, sir. Hope you are well. I am. Massive game tomorrow. Absolutely. I was just saying to Jordy Z that we're both feeling nervous. I'm feeling like the nervous, not like a daunting nervous or I'm scared nervous, but like this one means something. This one means something, isn't it? Expect the atmosphere to be massive and need it for this game. But we need that PSG atmosphere. We need that PSG atmosphere, 100%. Bring back those Champions League nights, those cup nights. Absolutely. Aaron Kane, I think if we can get the first goal tomorrow, yeah, and that's what everybody's saying. That kills the game. If Newcastle get the first goal, the game's dead. If Arsenal get the first goal, especially in the first 15 minutes. Ooh. We'll be in for a night. Wilson is going to be on the bench, I think, so hopefully he can stay. That's exactly my thought. Part of my review when I was looking at the Fulham game was there was a moment, I already kind of skipped ahead into that, but there was a moment in that Fulham game, for instance, I think after the 65th minute, I remember I noted it down actually in my notes, was the game kind of simmered down. It was 1-1. And for about between then and the goal, when Jimenez scored in the 82nd minute, it was kind of like just went down a little bit. And I said to myself, why didn't Howe just put someone else on it? Would have could already on. Do we have anyone else on the bench to kind of shift the dynamics a little bit more? And there wasn't anybody on the bench, and it made me think of the transfer window, it made me think of the injuries and stuff like that. So there was where obviously some of the limitations were. So yeah, you're right. Having Wilson back, imagine if I had Wilson available for that game, maybe that could have changed things a little bit around. So yeah, it'll be good to have him. It's just good to have him back. Still torn on the new stadium. Yeah, a lot of people are. I understand we need it, but for PSR and everything. But I feel those extra seats will go to the corporate members rather than the fans torn in the atmosphere of the newer stadium. So let me ask Aaron, and anybody else has come in as well, guys. Welcome to the show as well. In regards to that, and I appreciate sometimes with the comments you can't be as in depth and explain everything as well. So forgive me if I'm, if I'm just kind of being a little bit unfair. When you say, for instance, Iron Hand is we need it for PSR. Me personally, I think we need it for more than just PSR. So it's an incredible stadium now, but I think we also need it. I think we also need a new stadium for status, for growth, to show where the club is actually going. So for the likes of Isak and hopefully more type of Isaks and Brunos and Sven Botman players, when they look at the club as a whole, a new stadium, a world-class training facility, all these type of things, all these things smell like this is an elite club. Obviously, trophies is what puts all of that together. That goes without saying. But I think what cements you as a big club is having the facilities and the infrastructure and everything around it that shows you are a big club. This stadium will make us the second largest stadium in the UK. It's just behind Old Trafford. And I think the new stadium is more than just money. It's about the status of the club. It's about, I think, building a new legacy and growing upon it. The ideal situation is that if the land around it, everything else belonged to Newcastle Stadium, and obviously we had room for expansion to make it 70, 80, 100,000, but that's not what we have. I just think a new stadium shows a new chapter in Newcastle's history. And I'll be honest, I've seen some people say, oh, people are acting like, there was a debate of like, when people talk about history, Newcastle haven't won much. We haven't won much in the last 50 to 70 years. And some people try to boast, in my opinion, but we've won 4 Premier League titles. That's not a lot of titles for a club the size of Newcastle United. That's the honest truth. And the problem is we won those titles like what? 30s, 40s? I just think a new stadium sends the message of we're a big club, we're getting bigger, we're becoming elite, and hopefully we can fill it with trophies. So let me know what you think about that. Essentially, it's like, I just think it's more than PSR. And when we talk about soulless, when people talk about soulless club and stuff like that, as the stadium is soulless, for me personally, again, it's not the bricks and mortar, it's not the physical stuff that make the stadium have soul. It's us. It's the people inside it. It's the young kids to the older members of our Newcastle fandom who give it the soul. Because St. James's Park, just as it is now, without the people, is soulless. It only has the meaning to us because of what we've been inside it before. But had we not been inside it, if you can imagine that, if St. James's Park had just been newly built as it is now, people would still be saying it's soulless. I remember the old park and stuff like that. Imagine what the old people before were saying as well. And it's for this stadium. And for this new stadium that we're building, it's up to us, it's up to the people to give it that soul, to give it that vibe, to give it to make it at home. There's a difference between a house and a home. You can have a state-of-the-art house with nobody living in it. That's soulless. But it's the people that live in it, hopefully a family or whatnot, that make it into a home. And that's what my thoughts are about the new stadium, in terms of it's more than PSR. It's something that symbolizes that Newcastle are headed into a new era where this is going to be an elite title-winning, multi-title winning club, multi-successful club, sustainably successful club. And that's what I think it symbolizes. That's what I think it could be, in my opinion, anyway. And it's the fans, it's us who can turn that house, that modern state-of-the-art stadium, into a home. That's my thought. Let me know what you think. Jordy Z, Lees's Park is exactly where I hoped it would be. That's good. Still bang exactly in the city centre. 70,000. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's 70,000, and just looking at this picture, for instance, there's also room for it to expand as well. I think it could be incredible. I think I've got another bookmark where it shows what it might look like. Might look a little bit like the people call it bubble wrap, but I'll show it to you in a moment, where they're kind of comparing it to the Allianz. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. John Boy, Jonathan Shaw, evening to you, sir. Hope you're well. Evening, Philip. Good. Was originally against leaving our beloved St. James's Park. Yes. But times change, and a new stadium will house us for the next 100 years, and hopefully house multiple trophies and winning and just like new memories. That's what it's for, essentially, isn't it? That's the big part of what it's for, as well. Goes without saying, I suppose. The Villa fan, welcome, sir. Always good to see you on the show. Really good to have fans from other clubs. Come on. Good evening, mate. Good evening to you, sir. It'd be good to know from you. Would you want to see? I don't know if Aston Villa have any plans. If the owners have any plans to either expand or build a new stadium, and if you, as a Villa fan, would want that, especially if it's a new stadium. If you had to go to a new stadium, let me know what your thoughts are. Hope you're well. I'm living life to the full, sir. Living life. Good to see you. Keeping it to YT. Really good to see you, sir. Evening to you, sir. Hi, Philip. Hope you're well, mate. I am very well. Let me know what you think about the new stadium. What do you think? Let me know as well how you're feeling about tomorrow. John Boy, I can see. I can't. So excuse me. I can't see any stadium with 70,000 Geordies screaming it as being soulless. Exactly. Ask Mbappe. Even though I think he said it just to get one over. I think it was Liverpool they were playing. He said this St. James's Park is the best stadium in the in the UK. Ask them about it. With you, Solus. With you, Philip, it's the it's the fans that make the atmosphere. Exactly. Oh, I'm with you. I think I'm with you, Philip. It's the fans that make the atmosphere and make the new place our. Oh, got a few comments here, so I'll miss that. Make the new place our own. Exactly. Aaron Kane. I just hope when building the new stadium, they keep some of the existing features of St. James's Park, keeping the fans close to the pitch. Yes, you don't want to have the West Ham London Arena. No track and field around. This is for football. This is only for the game. And I don't think these owners. I'll be putting this way. I'll be shocked if they make that mistake. I'll be absolutely shocked if they made that mistake of making it more like track and field and stuff like that. Existing features of St. James's Park. So I just hope we're building to this to keep the same existing features of St. James's Park. Yes, keeping the fans close to the pitch. I'm a fan of copying the Allianz Arena. Oh, you are a fan? Okay, so you order? Yeah. Good. A lot of people were like, nah, man, man, guys, this is the modern era, honestly. The Villa fan, I actually don't know yet, mate. Okay, you answered my earlier question about possible new stadium or expansion, but I wouldn't say no to a new stadium. And this is a Villa fan. It would be nice to expand the capacity and make it more of a fortress, kind of like Everton's new one and St. James's. Exactly. We've got to grow, we've got to build. It can't just be Man United and Liverpool. To be fair, our stadium isn't too much smaller than Liverpool, but it just can't be Man United and those so-called other elite clubs who can have bigger, larger, bigger names, bigger brands, bigger stadiums, and we're all like, oh, I'm just here in my 100-year-old stadium. I don't want to change. Gosh, do you guys like think of your children? I want to see Newcastle lift. People keep saying, I want to win a trophy. I'm thinking like multiple trophies. Like we've got to envision that. We've got to be able to see that. It's maybe because I've been supporting Newcastle probably since 93, 94. Well, since our first game, I saw play against Monaco when Thierry Henry was playing for them. I can't remember what year that was. You guys can tell me. But because that was like the years ago in Champions, maybe because I've seen Champions League, I've seen Sir Bobby Robson, I've seen Shearer, Les Ferdinand in our front line. I've seen Asprilla doing bicycle kicks against Barcelona. I've seen Ginola flip a ball over live. I've seen a flip a ball over a player's head from Budapest or somewhere. I can't remember where that team was from, and just hit it top corner. Maybe because I've seen that stuff. I've seen us beat Man United 5-0. Maybe because I've seen that stuff. And those are the times when you can really see a momentum and a growth in Newcastle United. And that's when people calling me a glory hunter. Can you imagine? I'm like, maybe that's why I see Newcastle like as the team that can be the multi-title winning, domestic trophy winning team. I just feel like sometimes when I read, and I know social media is social media, you have to get out and touch grass and talk to people, but sometimes I see the comments and I'm like, it's like people never want to grow. I don't want to, I don't want a new stadium because then I'd miss walking up those stairs. I would want, but how about having a new stadium where you can walk past a trophy cabinet that's full of trophies? How about that? Like, I don't know. I thought that's what the game was for. And, I don't know. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Keep it Toon 2-1 to win tomorrow, mate. Oh, I love that. I am confident we'll turn up and book our second final in the final. Exactly, second final in 3 years. Love that confidence too. I love that, and that'll be smashing. I kind of want him to turn up. I want him to turn up that way and just you know what? Forget what happened against Fulham, Bournemouth, whatever. This is Newcastle United. Let's put one on him. John Boy, I think Villa will get the best out of Rashford. I think me personally, I think that's a dicey transfer. That's either gonna bang, like really go, like he's really gonna take off, but that's just gonna go. There's gonna be no middle with this one. There's going to be no middle road for this one, guys. For Villa, I was going to speak about, but I want to talk about on the news. But Villa's signed 5 players. You guys are risking it all in this winter transfer window. If you guys don't get that Champions League spot, you're going to have to be selling players they didn't really want to be selling. I just see it. And Jacob Ramsey, I wouldn't mind him at Newcastle United. I'm just gonna put it out there, Villa fan. They're like, I'm sure if you're, none of us are financial experts, but Rashford's on 320. I know you guys are paying like 70% of it, so that's 270k. Asensio's on 200k plus. Yeah, man, it's a lot of money. John Boy, I agree on all signings, mate. If we can get the best out of all the signings and bring to the remainder of the season, we'll see. Hopefully, you sure have gone for it. And if we can somehow win something major this season, in which I have my hopes, you gotta get a new stadium on top of that. And one thing I like about how Villa have handled the Champions League with the new format and the league title at the same time, you guys have done a smashing jobs with that. You really have. Credit to you guys. And I think you guys are obviously still in the FA Cup as well. So credit to you guys for that. Davy Eddie, again, I haven't even got past the first story yet, which is the new stadium. But Davy Eddie, good to see you, sir. Another one of our regulars. Hi, Philip. The Telegraph are always against us regarding the takeover. Yeah, well, the Telegraph and everybody else. They just pinched the story from the Daily Mail. I'll be okay with Lisa's part, but I think it would be somewhere else. Really? Do you know something that we don't know, David? Do let me know. I know there's a big PR campaign that the owners are trying. So maybe they're slowly, maybe they're saying, yeah, we're going to do it here. And then, we can't do it there because the council will let us do it here. Guys, what do you guys think about a new stadium in so-and-so area? And me personally, I know David, and I'm always kind of careful around it because it's different to when you're living local and you're seeing it every day. And obviously, I'm not from Newcastle, but that's why I keep on asking people from Newcastle about a new stadium. But I understand what it means to people as well. But where would that new stadium be? What would it be like? What were your feelings around it? John Boy 77. Villa have brought we're keeping our powder dry till the summer where I expect big deals. You and me both, John Boy. I'm going to get to the next. I'm going to get to the next story. Or there's a couple anyway. Wobo Jog. I hope I got your name right there, sir, or madam. Might lose the atmosphere with the new stadium. Emirates took so many years to make it resemble hybrid atmosphere. We talked about this. You might not have been here, Wobo Jog, but I made the point that it's not the stadium that makes the atmosphere. It's the people inside it. It's the fans, and it's if it's not that it's a house doesn't become a home by itself. It's the people that are inside it. It's the family that lives inside it. You can have a state of the art house, state of the art stadium, but it's the people. It's the people that make it what it is. And it's like the same thing, friends. When Newcastle, when we get into finals, you see us at Trafalgar Square in London, and we take over Trafalgar Square. We've just brought Newcastle to Trafalgar Square. The atmosphere is no longer at St. James's Park Stadium. The St. James's Park Stadium is empty, but at the atmosphere right there in that cup final is with the fans, and so it's going to be up to the fans to make it a home. And I think we'll do that. I think we're definitely going to do that. You're going to see that tomorrow night as well. RD United TV, how are you doing, sir? Good evening to you. Big up, mate. Thoughts on the window? I think we, from our part, RD United, we've all expected it to be a selling window. Although we wish to be making some signings, and we did try to make some signings. Kosanov was one of them, but literally City doubled the offer, or whatnot, and so we couldn't match that. But it was always going to be a selling window for us. I think it was a selling window for you guys as well. That PSR is a game that everybody has to play. So we're risking it all. We're risking it all, even with this cup run right now, with the Champions League spots possibly as well. But we're just risking it to see what happens. And yeah, essentially selling the players. So hopefully by June the 30th or just before that, we're not scrambling like we were before, throwing in Anthony Gordon and saying to him, "I'll have to sell you to Liverpool." So we're hoping to avoid that, which we will now. So yeah, in that sense, we're in the financial sense, we're moving in the right direction. In the footballing sense, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out where we're at. Let me know what you think about Man United's business. Malacia, I just saw Malacia has gone to PSV, I think, as well. You guys done a fair bit of selling and loaning out. Let me know what you think about Man United's business. But good to see you, sir. John Boy, of course. Neither us or Villa would need to sell anybody if none of these PSR rules. Yes, exactly. All right, so okay, David Eddie, I'm gonna read a few more, and then I'm gonna move to a few more other stories, and then we'll finally talk about the Arsenal game. But we're having a good time. David Eddie, our catchment area in the northeast is 850,000. Yes, a new stadium has to be 75 to 80k at least. Yes, in my opinion, will be successful. It will, in my opinion, will be successful season on season from now going forward. Good. I like that. So, are you saying that essentially a brand new stadium makes sense because Newcastle are pretty much, our trajectory is upwards, and that we're very likely to fill those seats, very likely to continue expanding, to growing, hopefully winning trophies as well. So it makes sense to not just expand the stadium, forget that, but actually build a new stadium as well. And if you can, do let us know where you think it will be built. The Villa fan. The great news is, I'll read a few more and then we'll get to the next story. The great news is we won't have to sell players anymore. We're saving Duran's money for which is excellent, and for our window signings are loans, which was smart from our director. Okay, fair play. RD United, bigging up everyone in the comments. Yes, guys, big up everyone in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, folks. Mighty Mag, I was waiting for you, sir. You and Geordie Z were right about the Fulham game. And let's just. All right, Philip. What went wrong from the Fulham? Fulham showed us up, pal. They did. And speaking of Fulham, I'm going to speak. I was wrestling with whether I want to speak about that game too much, but I will do something a little bit. I'm going to read a few of the stories and then give a little bit of analysis on the game myself and see what you guys think. All right, so one or two more stories, and we will go ahead. We'll review a little bit of the Fulham game in relation to the Arsenal game to kind of figure out, all right, what went wrong and what we need to fix. I think Eddie Howe's pretty much from the press conference. If you guys saw some of the press conference, I saw bits of it where he essentially just said, "Look, we're moving on. Like it was bad. We know what we need to fix. We fixed it, or we're fixing it, and we're moving on." And that's the clip of Guardiola saying that today. Let me see if you guys can see it. You guys should be able to see it. Yeah, so that's Guardiola saying, look, the game is today. Modern football is the way Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton, Liverpool play. So we're playing some modern football according to Pep Guardiola. He's kind of reflecting on Man City's recent spell. Yeah, so huge praise, I think, from Guardiola. Couple of interesting stuff from SLBSN. I don't know if you guys follow him. I think he's a Man City fan, but he's some sort of financial expert as well. I think he's always got some smart financial stuff to say. I like his material, I like his content. But he was just talking about how Newcastle's matchday revenue inexplicably, how he put it, went up 20 million. I don't know how it did that either. I'm just happy it did. Lloyd Kelly. So speaking of transfer business, Lloyd Kelly's obviously been sold. The figures constantly change. I think Juventus said they've loaned him for 3 million with an obligation of like 14 million, which comes up to about 17 million, for instance. But the Daily Mail and others are pretty much straightforward. They're saying it's 20 million, and it's the total package is around 20 million as well. It's still good business for Newcastle. Obviously, Almiron was also been sold. Both Almiron and Lloyd Kelly, especially Lloyd Kelly, he was probably third choice left back behind Byrne and Botman. So that was fine. Obviously, we did it. We practically, I think, bought him for nothing, aside from any sign-on fees. So it's pretty much close to pure profit for him. And Almiron as well. So Newcastle have been making money. This transfer window successfully too. Let me see if there's any other stories. So, and I'll end it on this: is it looks like it hasn't been officially announced, but we're certainly. But this is the project players. I think they're going to have a lot more. So there's breaking news that the Academy Revolution. This is from Magpie Media. A big up to Magpie Media. The Academy Revolution at NUFC continues as the club looks to have almost secured the signings of two exciting young talents from the continent. One of them being the reliable Turkish source has today said that they secured the young man's name. I think it's Baran Yildiz, and they were also looking at this Argentinian winger from Malaga, Antonio Cordero. This is obviously on top of Vikstag, the Georgian. There's another one as well. So I think I'm going to make a show of all the young talent that we've bought so far, whilst on Paul Mitchell's tenure. Obviously, we've also got, like, for instance, Mateus Ferreira, who went on trial at Newcastle. I actually saw him at a game against Everton as well. So we're getting a few more, but these are the academy players we've actually brought in. So we're growing. I want to be able to know a little bit more about these players. Let me know who you guys, I wonder who I can speak to about them to get more information about them. Yeah, to see how these talents are. But these project players, when we're talking earlier in this year, really means project players, like 17, 18-year-olds that haven't really seen first team football yet. So really interesting stuff, really exciting stuff, I think, as well. Right, so I'm going to read a few of the comments and review the Fulham game and speak about the Arsenal game and see what you guys think. There's one from I lost myself here a little bit. Where are we? Okay, yeah, Talk TV. Smash the likes, folks. Mighty Mag has said it. Smash the likes. Alf, good to see you. God bless. Hope you're well. Big up, Philip. We need to beat you tomorrow. We need to beat you more. Put it that way. You guys are going to feel the full weight of the St. James's Park atmosphere tomorrow. You're going to feel what Mbappe felt when he played for PSG against us. He still hasn't forgotten it. He still reminds rival fans that Newcastle United have the best atmosphere. You are going to feel it. St. James's Park under the lights. It's not the 3 o'clock kickoff, the 12 o'clock kickoff. It's under the lights. We're angry because we lost to Fulham. So you are going to feel the full weight of our fans, the players, and everything else. I hope you guys can handle it. I've seen bigger teams crumble. Put it this way. I've seen bigger teams crumble. Mighty Mag, Philip, if we don't get to Wembley, can you see Eddie's job on the line with lack of transfers in the past windows? Mighty Mag, goodness me. Then you meant to say the club not backing him. There's a lot in that, Mighty Mag. One is I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, first of all. And my main thing is just envisioning Newcastle winning and making sure that Newcastle win and that we get to the finals. I'm not even thinking about us losing, really, in that way. And in terms of Eddie Howe's job and everything else, there's anyone can do. What if Eddie Howe wins the League Cup and resigns at the end of the season anyway because he's just tired and has had enough? And that could happen. But I think Eddie Howe, what if even if he loses tomorrow, but Newcastle finish in the top 6, like it's all context. I don't know where it's going to be. So I'm not really thinking about Newcastle losing. I'm not thinking about Eddie Howe's job. I think for me, he's probably the best manager for us at this stage as well. I think he's got I don't even know what his ceiling is. This year I'm finding out what his ceiling is. I've been saying this for a while. I think he has the ingredients of being a title-winning manager, plus hopefully a trophy-winning manager. We're going to find out tomorrow as well. This is the second bite at the apple in terms of, well, technically third because of obviously 3.5 years at Newcastle. But yeah, and in terms of the owners not backing him, I think they tried to back him. We tried to buy Kasanov, but City doubled the transfer fee, and we were never going to compete with our kind of PSR and financial situation. Same thing with Juma Bar. That's been well kind of documented by various journalists. I don't think they haven't backed him because they don't like Eddie Howe. I think they just didn't provide. There's a number of reasons why they didn't buy any players. Eddie Howe has even said there's always going to be a selling window, and that's what it's happened to be. We on the show have been preparing for a selling window, though obviously with hope that we might get a Mark Gahey for 30 million, for instance. That hasn't materialized, obviously. So I don't think he hasn't been necessarily. We haven't bought any players because the owners don't like Eddie Howe, and I don't think the owners are going to. Even if the owners didn't like Eddie Howe or didn't think he's the manager, I don't think they'll take this long route of to kind of get him out the club and not backing him with players. I think they'll just sack him if they didn't think he was the right guy. I think they'll just do that. I think most competent owners would do that. I think we've got competent owners. So yeah, man, I'm just more thinking about winning tomorrow and winning big, getting to that final and hopefully lifting the League Cup. I just want to see Newcastle lift the trophy. I think Eddie Howe's one of the best managers in the league. I think he's better than Arteta. I think he's got a better list and more. I think there's not too many managers in the league that are better than Eddie Howe, in my opinion. I think he's got to be in the top 4 managers, in my opinion, anyway. And I think it would be foolish to let him go so easily. So hope that answers the question. And one more before I go on, Davey Eddie. Yes, Philip, we will have even more of a clamour for season tickets. Gold dust, they will be, exactly. Even with the 75k stadium, I agree. We'll keep pushing on. We have everything in place. And I think Exactly. And speaking of, I think, Dave, I think you're seeing what I'm seeing. I think with this, especially with this particular window, where we haven't, well, not just win this win. This is on the back of what? This is now 3 windows. We haven't bought anything, any players of significance, and it's just to get us rightly aligned with the whole PSR situation and put us in a position where we can do something. With the stadium now, with the people talking about sponsorship deals, you know what? Getting sponsorship deals with a 75k stadium, Champions League, regular Champions League, in terms of finances, is going to be different to what the sponsorship deals that we're getting at the moment. So I think the owners are just getting their ducks lining up, getting their ducks in a row, in my opinion as well. But it's going to take time, and I'm glad they're taking their time. I'm glad they're not listening to some of our fans, including myself sometimes, when we're bemoaning things and stuff like that. I think they just have to do it. They have to do things a bit more slowly, a bit more patient. I think they're making the right moves, in my opinion. So, guys, I want to move on to this game now. I'm going to go back to your comments. I'm going to talk a little about. I'm going to give I'm going to give an overview of that Fulham game. I want to give an overview of the Fulham game to explain the main thing that I was probably most. I know there's a number of things we can all talk about. I'm sure you guys can tell me the things that obviously we lost, isn't it? So you can all tell me. We can all talk about the thing that. There's a number of things from that game that probably will disappoint most of us. Let me get it to here. And my main thing for Newcastle was the second half in particular. I'm sure people can point out things in the first half, but for the sake of time and where I think I'm going to get kind of straight to the point is, the first half I felt that we were 50-50 with Fulham. And what gave us the edge is the fact that what I thought would happen in the preview of the show was we've got better players up front. Gordon, Murphy, Isak proved that to be the case. I thought in that first half we gave as good as we got. Fulham are a very good team, organised team. They also had chances, but they don't have the players that we have, and that showed. And so we took the edge. Now I'm going to be a bit more careful about showing the clips, because some of my stuff I've been like not struck, but I've been kind of given a little a slap on the wrist for showing some clips, not from the Newcastle website, by the way, but from Sky Sports. This is Newcastle website, but I'm going to be a bit more careful with the clips. So the first half, I think we gave as good as we got, in my opinion. The second half, and let me show first what I mean by this. The second half, we became a lot more loose in our possession, and it cost us. There's two things that happened. We became more loose in our possession. Let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see this. We became more loose in our possession, and Fulham didn't do anything incredible. The one thing they started doing, which is what Bournemouth did, but Bournemouth did it to a much better degree, is start hitting direct balls to their flanks. So they started using Traore a lot more, and they started using Iwobi on their left hand side against Livramento a lot more. And we should be accustomed to this, where teams are just saying, you know what, forget trying to get through their players, through their strike, through their midfield. Let's go directly at whether it's Hall, whether it's Burn, let's try and isolate those guys against our wingers, who are typically decent at dribbling, for instance, or take-ons. So Traore is probably better at take-ons than he is. He's not technically that good at dribbling, but he can just kick a ball forward and run after it, and he gets past most people, which is what they started doing, and they started stretching the play a little bit more. But we were, in my opinion, and looking at the shots map, for instance, even though we had a few scary moments with that in the second half, most of those shots were getting blocked. There was the one save that obviously Dubravka had to make from Emil Smith-Rowe before the Jimenez goal, but that was again, came from a loose pass. So the combination of Fulham going directly at us through their flank, so Anderson will just hit a straight ball to Traore. So I got clips of that, which I don't. Just for the sake of time, I can't show. But just for those who've seen the game, Anderson just hitting the ball straight to Traore, hitting the ball straight to Iwobi, and just isolating them against Hall and Livramento, and then just going at us that way. The combination of that and us losing the ball in central areas, and it's not just Tonali. I know the goal from Jimenez came from the Tonali, and I'm going to show that pass. Isak was caught in possession. Joe Linton was caught in possession. All our kind of big players were caught in possession or not giving the right pass, getting dispossessed. Bruno Gomes. All those players were caught in possession, the turnover, and it led to Newcastle It led to the shift in the momentum, and you guys can see on here. It led to a shift in momentum, particularly in that second half when Fulham got those 2 goals, and it led to those goals changed games, and it led to obviously Fulham winning the game. And this loss could have so easily been avoided, in my opinion. So, for instance, in my comments, and I'm going to show just the one clip that led to the goal, but it's not a one-off, was what I'm saying. For instance, in my notes, when I was reading key moments, particularly in the second half, there's a number of talking about direct ball to Traore, again, opening the half, 49 minutes, direct ball to Traore. He started off, Smith Rowe got a shot, but Newcastle did well to get back in a good shape. 51st minute, Smith forces the back in a save after Joe Linton fails to play a simple pass. And Fulham were pressing in the mid-block, for instance, in that time, but it wasn't an aggressive mid-block. Fulham were clever, so when Newcastle then tried to obviously play out the back and hit Fulham on the counter-attack, they'll make clever fouls like Castagno and Gordon to stop our momentum, which is what we didn't do, and annoyingly, which we're really good at. Some of the dark arts. We just stopped doing dark arts. We just become like fairies all of a sudden. Not fairies, I won't go that far, but like we just become like just no more dark arts for some reason. So Fulham were being very clever, but they weren't doing anything special. 53rd minute, Isak was dispossessed. This is what led to a Fulham counter attack, and NUFC had to clear Tonali via Tonali, but Bassi was able to get a header. And again, this is I wrote in bold writings. By this stage, it's Newcastle being sloppy in possession in that first 10-15 minutes. That just gave that swung the momentum in Fulham's favour. Fulham weren't doing anything special. And I stick by my early analysis when I said it in the preview that they're fairly one-dimensional, Fulham. If Newcastle bring their A game, which they didn't, we win this game relatively comfortably. But we gave the game away by literally giving the ball away. And this led to just continuously being caught out in possession and having to run back and defend, which we did okay for most of the parts. But obviously, this is what led to the Jimenez goal, which, by the way, we got dispossessed again. So let me get to that point as well. Let me show that clip quickly. Where was it? On 104.23. Let me share the screen with you guys. Where are you? Okay, here we go. 104.23. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. So again, second half. 104.23. 104.23. Where are you? So this is the Jimenez goal. And what Jimenez done really well actually, is he initially intercepted the ball from Tonali, then ran to the other side of the pitch, Why can't I see that? This clock is so small on here. And he ran to the other side of the pitch. Again, knocked over Tonali. So this is it. A little bit of it here. Let me make sure I've got the sound off so I don't get into trouble with Newcastle. I'm going to be showing it a little bit. So let me first bring it back. No, how did he do it? Okay, so yeah. This is so this is literally how it started. This is us this is actually, we took a free kick by this stage. Isak and Gordon on the ball. Isak's on the ball here. Newcastle are on the attack. We are in Fulham's half, guys, right? Isak could take a shot. He could give that through ball to the on-running Burn, who's waiting for it. Somebody else on the far right there is waiting for it as well. Right next to him is Bruno Gomes. Isak doesn't pass it to them. He gets it off to Tonali. Now, Tonali doesn't show the Tonali part too well. Tonali passes it, tries to get it over to Murphy, but the ball is intercepted by Jimenez, who anticipates it quite well, actually. Jimenez gets the ball off, runs with it, gets the ball off to the on-running Traore. Newcastle, gosh, this is the part that I don't like about it. Missed me again. Yeah, so let me see now. It's oh. Let me get this back. Yeah, so we lose it. Jimenez gets onto it, gets off to Traore, who gets off to Emil Smith-Rowe, who then gets it back to Jimenez, and Jimenez has a simple finish. He actually bumps into Tonali. Tonali runs back into the area, tries to get his position, but Jimenez is very clever. He hangs back a little bit, and the ball comes to him, or he's got a little bit of time and space and slots the ball home. But the point being is Newcastle lose possession in Fulham's half, and that was literally the theme of the game. I'm pretty sure that's what Eddie Howe's going to be talking about with the lads in this game as well. That's what they were doing. They were just like phenomenally bad. No, they were phenomenally bad in possession in this game, and they gave the game to Fulham, who aren't a creative team. There's nothing that they really, even with their direct passing, we pretty much stopped them. But they won the ball back really well from Jimenez, and they won the game, and that was literally the flow of the game. So speaking of the obviously our oncoming game of Arsenal, I'm going to put it up on here, get your guys' comments. What do you guys think of the Fulham game so far? I think it's a game that we could have won, but we were very sloppy in possession. It cost us. We gave the momentum back to Fulham, and they took it. Some of our duels weren't the best in our duels, I don't think. Let me see if you guys. Am I even sharing my screen anymore? I'm flicking around. Yeah, I'm not sharing my screen. That's annoying. Let me share my screen. I thought you guys were on the screen with me, but you're not. Let me get it back on here. So make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, so this is Sofa score. I think we could have been better in our personal duels. Not only in our personal duels, but also in our, like I said, as well. In the second half as well. So in the first half, Fulham had who had the more possession? Fulham had the more possession. Interestingly, in the second half, it switched to us having more possession. But I think Fulham gave us the ball. They wanted us to attack so they can get the turnover, anticipate the passes. They knew that. I feel like they knew our pattern of play. The way Jimenez anticipated Tonali's pass, it's like he knew Tonali would turn and look at Murphy. He anticipated it so well when he got that ball. and they just started hitting us from the attack. They went from the first half, Fulham. They went from a first half of having 58% possession when we're both going at it to 45%. They gave up what, 12%, 13% of possession? It's not because we were doing so well winning it back. And they just started hitting it directly and hitting it long. They started anticipating our play. We became very predictable in our play. And it hurt us in the end as well. And it gave Fulham the victory. They had 11 shots to our 4. Oh, that's the second half, excuse me. But yeah, again, second half, they had 11 shots to our 4. Overall, it's 15 to 11. So I think we had the more shots in the first half. Literally became a game of two halves. Our keeper had to make 2 saves. Their keeper had to make 3. Overall passes not too far from each other either. They made the more tackles. I think again because they set up in a counter press to counter press us, and it just worked. That mid block set up, the counter press works against us so well, especially when we're not as sharp and crisp with our passing. And typically, I would say we need to get more technical players in to help us with that. But the people that were getting dispossessed, Isak, Bruno, Joe Linton. I know he's not as good as those guys, but he's still decent on the ball. Those are the guys that are getting dispossessed. Tonali, obviously, with the bad pass. Those were our technical players that went up to. And the thing that makes Newcastle tick is when our big players have big games, when our intensity is in our game, and when we're tactically set up very well. And that makes us literally unstoppable. But, we none of that was working for us. We both had shots on target. We hit the one thing, and it's important when I'm kind of speaking like this, is that we did hit the woodwork twice. So our forwards were doing their job. They were getting shots off. Fulham had 7 shots blocked, because they just kept hitting us on the counter because we kept them giving the ball away annoyingly. Fulham had 10 shots inside of our box. We're typically a lot better than this, And when they've got wingers that can dribble or take on, like having a Iwobi, having a Traore, this is what Fulham did. But we gave them that incentive, and we gave them that momentum. That's the annoying thing about it. And I think that's why Eddie Howe is saying, I'm sure this is why Eddie Howe is saying that his reflection so far on the game, he knows what went wrong. I don't think it takes deep analysis. This is just me, armchair fan sitting at home, watching the second half and saying, yeah, this isn't that difficult to break down. It wasn't like, if Newcastle were in this tactical shape, if Fulham were in that tactical shape, if this, that, or the other, it was just individual mistakes, individual errors, being sloppy with the ball, giving it away, and just giving the game away to Fulham. That's what happened, and that's something that weakens. The good news is that something that's in our hands. We can solve that. We can change that, which brings us onto the Arsenal game. Again, so ground duels. Who's this? So Fulham dominated the ground duels. It's insane. Fulham won 62% of the ground duels. That's horrible. Our average, our lowest, I've seen typically we're on about 48, and they won the physical game against, very similarly against us last time. I don't know why it's flicked up again. When we played them at their ground, how can we only win 38% of ground duels? That's crazy. That's a mentality thing as well there. I expect us to win the aerial duels. We've got Burn, but we won that because Fulham kept on firing the ball over the top. Dribbles, 82% from Fulham, only 30% from us. Rose Gordon, Isak, Bruno Gomes, our guys who can travel with the ball. We only had 30%. And I think so. That's why I didn't want to go into this thing too long because we've got this big game. But you have to be honest. You have to call it as it is. Um, that's my assessment of the full. I'm going to go to the. That's my assessment. We weren't good enough. Like we just did not perform well individually or as a collective in our passing, in our ground duels, in our um, in our kind of giving the ball away, giving the game away, giving away the momentum, having zero to no game management whatsoever, not being up for the physical. I can imagine Newcastle, when we lose our intensity, we look so ordinary. It's insane. We look bang average when we lose our intensity. And if intensity is our identity, it really is our identity. We look bang average when we don't have our intensity. So let me go on to whoscored.com because they have a very good way of comparing the metrics and stats together. And let me just sit up and then I'll go to your comments. So, yeah, um, we could have drawn the game. We hit the woodwork twice, obviously through Bruno, through Tonali. That would have been the result would have been a lie in terms of how the game was actually going. But again, it points to I think we've got the overall better quality between the two teams. But when you don't have the intensity, when the individual players and the collective team are not performing, it just that second half in particular, that second half was very different to the first half. In fact, I wish I stayed on Surfer Squad and seen what the ground jewels was like in the first half. If any of you guys, let me. In fact, I'm so curious to see if that changed in the first half. Let me go back to Surfer Score. You guys won't see this, but let me just do it quickly while you guys what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm curious to see just how much of a shift because of a shift in possession. I think that was intentional from Fulham's side. I think that they just said, "Look, you guys take the ball, come break us down. We're gonna hit you on the counter because we think we can take you on," and it worked. Let me see how much our intensity just went. It was insane. Let's get the first half. Okay, first half stats. I want to see where we were with our ground duels. Let's see. Did I go too far? I think I went too far. Let me see. It was even worse. It was even worse in the first half. They even had 83% on dribbles in the first half. It was a bad performance, man. Guys, it was just a bad. Like, I mean, when I'm talking to you guys, it's worse than as I'm talking about it. And this is the third time I've done that on the show actually, when I'm actually getting a bit more angry at talking about a game because after I reflected about it, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh, this is bad. And the first time was against Fulham at Craven Cottage. That's when I think Joe Willock had 0% in winning any duels. I think Kelly had the same. We didn't see Kelly or Willock for a while after that. I mean, the good news is that Eddie Howe has a way of usually bouncing the team back after such performances. Um, it's rare that we kind of follow up one we can have one bad result, but we don't typically have a bad performance. Um, so I'm lining up the stats here. I'm going to look at. So I think this is from the League Cup stats. Don't want to have the League Cup stats. I don't want to have the. Let me do the overall league stats. Can I do the league stats, or is it only going to show me? So what this does for you guys on the WhoScored.com matches your metrics home and away. Obviously, Newcastle are playing at home, so I've got our home stats. And obviously, Arsenal are playing away. So but it's showing me the metrics from the League Cup. But League Cup, it's going to be a bit infrequent. So I'm going to use the Premier League stats for both teams rather than the league stats. Excuse me, rather than the League Cup stats, just because we've got more to go on. But can I do that? Because it's not letting me at the moment. I can't figure out how to do it. So I have to use League Cup stats. I hope I don't. That'll be annoying. Can I change the League Cup stats? Maybe I can't. All right, so let me just do overall then. Let's just see overall and see how we're doing rather than do home and away. So typically I would say, what are they playing at home? I might switch around. Let me see. We'll play about it. But before I do that, let me read your comments, see what you guys are saying. So yeah, like I said, it was a bad performance. And really, this Arsenal game being so close might be a good thing because it gives us an opportunity to get it out of our system. Aaron Kane, can they play right wing? I'm not sure who. Might be talking to somebody else there. John Boy, 77. My take on the weekend was Fulham turned up and we couldn't match them. I agree. We have to forget it. I agree. So does Eddie Howe, which I'm sure Eddie has, and be focused for Wingin Arteta and his and his very dislikable team. I doubly agree on that. David Eddie, Philip, the hierarchy said they may have to stretch the elastic band to the outskirts of the city centre. The elastic band, the outskirts of the city centre. That is not Lee's part. So that's what you're going off of. Okay. Whatever it is, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I hope it's a new stadium. I do. David Eddie, Philip, kick towards the Gallowgate end, down the hill first half, get the early goal, and then and kill the game tight. Yeah, exactly. And we can, even not the stuff in that Arsenal, remind them that they don't really want it, and we just go through the motions of the game, make it as boring as possible. David Eddie agreed, Philip. No way am I Eddie out. I can't believe folk are saying lose this next game and Eddie is. Yeah, I don't think Mike Mag is necessarily saying it. I think in terms of like let people out and stuff like that, or anybody else in this case, I think maybe just speculating if anything else. John Boy 77. We have the best manager here now, and he has done nothing to suggest that he isn't the right man for now and the future. I agree. Who could have done a better job than Eddie has since he became manager? Not many people. Not where we were. Not second from bottom. Not that we haven't won a game in 14 games, destined for championship. No club has ever done that. Even those that have been relegated, not even Derby, or Southampton now, has ever done that. Newcastle were breaking all sorts of records, bad ones, before Eddie Howe took over. Like people forget that. Mighty Mag, Newcastle United, great view, Philip. Everyone has their own view. Now let's get our place at Wembley and behind the team. Away the lads, exactly. I want that PSG atmosphere on steroids tomorrow. David Eddie, agreed, Philip. I thought Traore continually got crosses in first half. Hall was scared to get close to him. I don't blame him. Especially when he's isolated like that, and he knows the pace of Traore. And Joe Linton and I don't blame Joe Linton necessarily for this because the ball's going directly to Traore, and you're gonna, Joe Linton can't be in two places at once. But that's what teams decided to do. We did get back well, okay, like I said, but it wasn't good. And that's when Newcastle need to decide what we do, because we're so much better when we play a little bit closer together. So it stops those kind of direct balls being such an issue. So we stay together either in a high press, like really going high, so getting people offside, or we go in the low block and we defend together. So we did that okay today, but it was okay on the game, but it was the turnovers, it was the loose passing, it was getting dispossessed in the center of the pitch and getting passed through. It really, really hurt us. Excuse me. Aaron Kane, for me, the lack of depth and energy really cost us against Fulham. Yeah, especially in that second half, in my opinion. But then looking at the first half stats, I'm like, sheesh. I was frustrated with Eddie not being reactive, but proactive when making changes. Botman Miley could be on earlier to provide energy. Botman Miley, yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. Um, the problem was as well, I think, was our big players were having such big stinkers, and there wasn't no Callum Wilson to come on for Isak. There's no Barnes to come on for Gordon. Um, you know, and uh, who would come on for Bruno as well? I mean, that's where the limitations of our bench is. If Eddie Howe could, I think he would have taken those guys off. Even though Isak was okay, actually, he was okay. He hit the crossbar a few times, but it wasn't enough. Like it wasn't great. Davey Eddie, Philip, we hit the bar twice. We did. Willock missed. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh my word, I forgot about that one. He did miss a sitter. He did miss a sitter. He did. He did miss a sitter. And by the way, the racism towards him online was totally unacceptable as well. So God bless Willock, from the media messages that he received. How he responded was incredible. He's a Christian man like myself, and he done well to respond the way he did. But being racist towards somebody over a football game for any reason really is insane to me. But I know he's a strong guy, and he'll be fine. Philip, Davey Eddie, Philip, we did, yeah, Bruno's clear header. I can't remember the Bruno header. Gordon scooping a shot over the bar. I think I remember. Yeah. And their winning goal was a deflection. We could have won that. Their winning goal as well. I didn't even mention this. There's so much stuff I missed out. But Isak could have done better to manage Muniz. I don't even think we need to give that free kick away. I also think Dubravka, I didn't speak about Dubravka, dived way too early. He was on the ground, I feel like, before the ball was even hit. And this is where I say to people about, I know he's been having a good game, but people were saying, like, give him another 4 or 5 years, or he's a number one and Pope ain't this. But I don't know if Pope would have, I think Pope might have saved that, to be honest with you. I know that he's not great with his feet, but he knows how to save a shot. So I'm curious to see what selection Eddie Howe makes for this game as well. I wonder if he makes a change. He takes off Byrne for Botman, plays Botman and Fabian Shaw together, takes off Dubravka, puts on Pope, takes off Livramento, puts on Kieran Trippier. That's a lot of changes. That is a lot of changes. And if Joe Linton is injured, then I think Willock is a natural change. I feel like the way Eddie Howe had his press conference, there was something a bit more definitive about what he was saying. I feel like he made up his mind about something very quickly. I know he always sounds like that, but if he keeps the same lineup, he keeps the same lineup. But it seemed to me that he was very clear about what was wrong with that game. And like I said, I'm an armchair fan watching the game, and it's very clear to me what I'm watching. Like, you don't have to be a tactical to see that. Nathan, hi, good evening, sir. Hope you are well. God bless. Welcome to the show. Oh, Mighty Mag, all right, Nathan. Welcome, Nathan. Davey Eddie. I think I'll read a few more and I'll go back to just a couple of minutes of reviewing the Arsenal. It's annoying because I wanted to use whoscore.com, but I'll see if I'll see. I'll see if there's any others because I would have wanted to go through the stats a little bit better. But anyway, Davey Eddie, John Boy. In my opinion, no one could have done a better job than Eddie. He's having to wring the best out of the team. First 11 game on game, you can't win them all. Yeah, I agree. I think Botman will make a difference against Arsenal. He did in last game. I think Botman will be good. That was Botman and Burn though. And I just think we want to play out the back. Arsenal are going to try and press us and try and do what they did to Man City. I think it's good to have Fabian and Botman back. I think Botman will make a difference against Arsenal. Therefore, he'll start, and I'll be tempted to play in his preferred position on the left. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Aaron Kane, agree completely with the mentality thing, Philip. Prior to the game, Murphy kept talking about Arsenal. There's certain players who aren't up to it. We need to take things game by game. Yeah. At the moment, and maybe it's having a lack of fear. I mean, Murphy now knows he's the only right winger available, and even with Barnes back, Barnes doesn't like playing on the right. Neither does Gordon anymore, even though that's what he bought him for. I hope it's not that. I think Murphy's a bigger player than that, and I can go a little bit over the top, maybe, but I hope he's a bigger player than that. I'm sure he is. I think we're going to see a different Newcastle tomorrow. Definitely, we'll see a different Newcastle tomorrow. I'll read a couple more and go back to the Arsenal a little bit more. John Boy, agree, bad performance, but we need to move on. Yeah, that was Eddie Howe's message. That was Eddie Howe's message all along through his press conference. Well, from the clips I saw, all teams are struggling for consistency, and let's not forget the run we've just had. Exactly. I know that Chelsea won against West Ham, but no, I think they deserved to win, but it wasn't all their way. Man City got wrecked by Arsenal, for instance. Who else do we have around us? Bournemouth obviously lost to Liverpool. Aston Villa, Wolves. Man, Villa fan, I don't know if you're still here, but guys, I don't know if you guys saw the Cunha goal against Villa, the winning goal. 60 million for Cunha. He's worth every penny. I'm telling you, Cunha is worth 60 million. He can be I know he's an attacking midfielder who plays across the front three. I know he's 25, whatever, and we're looking for a little bit younger than that. He's worth the 60 million. Right? For me, he's worth the 60 million. A couple more. Bargav. I don't know if it's your first time here, sir, but welcome to the show. Good evening. Hello, what injuries do you have for tomorrow? You must be an Arsenal fan. I don't know if I think Callum Wilson is due back. Harvey Barnes is still off and will be off until mid-February. Joe Linton is a doubt. It's interesting though, I thought that he came to the photo shoot with his leg brace. I don't know if that was to throw people off. And you just see Joe Linton on the first team. Everyone's expecting him to be injured, and then you just see him on the first team sheet. So it'll either be Joe Linton or Joe Willock. But those are the major doubts for us as well. So, but the fans are going to be there. Eddie Howe's going to be there. Isak's going to be there. We're all going to be there. So be ready for us. A couple more here. This is now Mighty Mag. This is now when we need Wilson. He has let us down massively with his sick notes. Fed up with him now. Just a waste on the wage bill. If he scores a winning goal tomorrow, Mighty Mag, I think that frown's going to turn into a smile, mate. Wilson, I think that makes up for his whole season of injuries, I think, if he wins a winning goal tomorrow. Wilson can go and do one in the summer. See you, Wilson. You won't be missed. That's from Mighty Mag. Davey Eddie, yes, Philip, the racism towards Willock by one of our own fans is unforgivable. I hate that. And I wonder if it is one of our own fans. I mean, sometimes I see these. Maybe I saw, maybe there was more than one. The one I saw, it wasn't clear who it was from. It was just like, I don't know if it's a bot, like, I don't even know. Like, it's race. It's just like, I don't know, man. I hope it isn't. If it is, whoever it comes from is just like, It's not on. Liam Knowles, good to see you, sir. Good evening. Even though we aren't setting up like City, we're not. That's for sure. Spurs style, medium press, hit on the break. You're saying Spurs style. Okay, so even in all, we aren't setting up like City. Spurs style, medium press, hit on the break, one-on-ones. That would be a good one. Yeah, I think that's what we did against them at their stadium as well. And it worked a treat, especially with Willock. And finally, a couple more. I keep saying a couple more. Mighty Mag, Philip, I can tell you now, we won't see Wilson again this season. He's meant to be due back tomorrow, mate. Oh, he might be back tomorrow. Oh, like we play against Spurs. Okay, yeah. That was a good game. It's going to be a different game tomorrow. Should be a good game. Give me your. I think you're an Arsenal fan, Barga. Welcome to the show. Rival fans are always welcome to the show. Give me your predicted scoreline if you can, guys. Send me your predicted scoreline. I'm going to give mine in a moment as well. I wanted to touch on a little bit more with Arsenal. It's so annoying. I was going to have I was going to use FOTMob, but FOTMob is using the stats from the League Cup, and there isn't much from that. I don't deduce. I think the league form is going to show us the form both teams are going in. So I feel like it's a bit of a waste kind of using the league stat stuff, in my opinion. So all right, so let me see. Okay, so we're on FOTMob. Newcastle United, Arsenal tomorrow, 8 p.m. 2-0 aggregate. All right, so guys, give me your predicted scorelines. We're gonna get this on. So knockouts, and Tottenham as well. They're already 1-0 up against, and they're going to Anfield. I wonder how they're feeling. I don't care. So anyway, let's look at a couple our most recent fixtures against Arsenal. They got home and they got this tournament as well. Oh gosh, 2010. That's not good. Let's not look at that. Let's not look at that. Yeah, we won our previous one. What is this? Take this stuff off. I don't like these stats. Let's look at the previous ones. Yeah, so 7th of January, we won 2-0, obviously, at their stadium. We also won 1-0 at our stadium. Last year, February, they won 4-1. That's when we had a really injury-hit squad, but they won 4-1 at the Emirates. Before that, we won 1-0. So really close stuff between us. They won 2-0 in 2023. That was a 0-0. 2022, 2-0 to us, 2-0 to them after that, then 2-0 to them. So, and that's still prior takeover. This is Newcastle prior takeover. After takeover, it's a lot more to and fro between us and Arsenal. So it's a lot more closer. So that's interesting to see. They haven't got the. Let's see. In terms of injuries and suspensions, obviously Callum Wilson is a doubt, but it could be back. We're not seeing Harvey Barnes until mid-February. Same with Jamal Lascelles. For Arsenal, Ben White is still out. Bukayo Saka is obviously, unfortunately, still out till late February. Gabriel Jesus is well out for the season. Cruciate ligament. Sorry about that. And Tomiyasu as well. Otherwise, everybody else is fit for Arsenal. Arsenal's last 5 games, they've won 4 of them, drew 1. That was against Aston Villa. Otherwise, in the Champions League, they beat Dinamo Zagreb 3-0, beat Wolverhampton 1-0, beat Girona 2-1, and they smashed Man City, who aren't in the best of form. So it's interesting. It's very interesting scorelines for Arsenal there. Obviously, ourselves, we beat Bromley, we beat Wolverhampton 3-0. Why can't I remember that game? Oh, yes. Now I remember. Yeah, 1-0. We lost to Bournemouth. We beat Southampton. And we lost to Fulham. So, we're both coming into this fixture on decent-ish form. Obviously, Arsenal a bit better, especially on the 5-1 victory against City. They're looking good. I didn't set my tactical board as I usually do for this game. I was hoping to have a little bit more, but let me see if I can get the screen up for the selected game for the teams. All right, so WhoScored.com at least got the teams up, and they've got us playing Gordon, Isak, and Murphy, Burn, and Shaw. I think it will be Botman, and Fabian Shaw possibly. Though I think maybe Burn. I think that's how maybe takes off Livramento. I've been hearing people saying that Livramento hasn't been great. I think it's been okay. I think it's been okay, but I have to watch him a little bit more closely. Maybe there's so many people that he could take off. WhoScored.com got Joe Linton off. They think Willock is playing instead. So I think they made the one change. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe Pope back between the sticks, or maybe not. Maybe the game's too far. Maybe they wait for the FA Cup. They'll keep the Bravka. But I'd like to see Botman back. I'd like to see the energy back. I would have Trippier and Botman on for Burn and for Livramento, and probably Willock on for Joe Linton if he's injured. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Eddie Howe gives the majority of the squad one more chance. For Arsenal, Havertz, Trossard, and Wanyeri, who's their revelation, is really, really good. He had a 10-minute cameo, came on, was looking very, very good for them. He's going to be down that right side against Hall. I think Hall prefer Wanyeri to a Traore, in my opinion, and Livramento in terms of just legs and pace against Trossard would be fine. Is Martinelli injured then? Why is Martinelli not playing? He must be on the bench for them. I would have played Martinelli instead of Trossard, but maybe the balance of the team and everything. So Trossard, they got Trossard, because otherwise they haven't really got anybody to run beyond the line, which is where I fear for Newcastle typically. But Arsenal don't really do that. Otherwise, their midfielders are incredible. So Arsenal, in terms of midfields, Arsenal and Liverpool have one of the best midfields in the league, I believe. Odegaard, Partey, Rice has been exceptional for them, and obviously they got the two centre backs, brick walls, and Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. But when Isak and Gordon are on form, which I expect them to be under the crowd tomorrow, it's going to be a hell of a fight. And Timber, and obviously the young Skelly, who's been making beef with Haaland, and is shown to be himself an incredible. I know he's playing left back for them, but I think he's a number 8 naturally. Really, really good on the ball as well. It's going to be interesting to see how he matches up with Livramento. Bruno and Murphy have to be disciplined down that right side and protect them and protect Livramento as much as possible. So guys, I'm ready to give my predictions, but I'm going to read your comments before I do that first. It's going to be a massive game, and the Newcastle United crowd, the atmosphere, like I keep on saying, it has to be that PSG atmosphere. It has to be that PSG atmosphere for the lads. It's going to be pumped up. I really hope that we had this bad game against Fulham. Maybe because the players are thinking, I don't want to get injured. Even that's bad. I want to play against Arsenal. Even that's bad. I expect to see a very different Newcastle United for this game. We've beaten Arsenal twice this year already, with not conceding one goal. I think I'm going to keep my predictions to myself, but I expect to bounce back. But before I give my predictions, let me read your comments. Guys, send in your predictions. Let me know what you think so far. And please, folks, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's always a blessing to have you guys on. I was so tempted to try and do the watch along tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be able to hold myself on the camera. I don't know if I'll be able to behave myself on the camera to do the watch along. Okay, so Liam knows like we play against that one. Mighty Mag Wilson will pick up an injury in training tomorrow, picking up his coffee. I hope not. I know. I can't even. I used to argue Callum Wilson's case, but I can't. It's no point. It's no point. Dave Yeddy, Philip. Even if Wilson scores the winner in the cup final, he's had his time at NUFC. He spends more time in Dubai than Sheikh Mohammed. Fair play. Aaron Cave going for a 1-0 win and some dirty 5-5-0. Any tactics to see that? That was the dark arts that I loved. When I saw that 5-5, I said, we are back. Newcastle are back, baby. And then for some reason, that's what we should do against Fulham. We don't just do that we should be doing this tactic just for Arsenal or for Liverpool. We didn't do that against Liverpool, obviously, but we shouldn't be just doing that for Arsenal. Why not just do that against? Why not go 1-0 up and do that against Fulham and see the game out? Like, honestly, man. Anyway, yes, I agree, Aaron. John Boy, 3-1 to the Toon. Wilson to come off the bench and score a blind. I love that. That scoreline would make me weep. I tell you that, Philip, David, and thank you guys for sending your scorelines as well. I'm going 2-2. They have to press. We can get anyone on the break. I agree. It's going to be a hell of a game. John Boy, I'm finished with the Wilson. He has passed it. Mike Mag. Liam Knowles, I have to believe Wilson will stay fit. His goals and physicality are so important to us. I agree. If only we had the option of him and Isak in a 10. Yeesh, that would be good. For the last year's plan B. That would have been good. Wilson, 32 years old. He has passed his sell-by date. Oh, that used to be peak form back in the day. Bargav says 2-0 to Arsenal, going to extras. Thank you for sending that in, Bargav. Appreciate you for that. You didn't say how the extras are going to finish. I think you know. But thank you. Mighty Mag. Newcastle United. So, excuse me, Mighty Mag. Can you see any top 6 teams keeping players when they are in their 30s? They are out and replaced always, have always, and always will be. Yeah, look, Newcastle got the 4th highest oldest team in the league. But at the same time, we haven't, apart from Osola, but even with Osola, we bought Vladikamos, so I think I can't remember, is he in his 30s? He's definitely older than, I think, he must be in his late 20s at least. We haven't bought anyone in the last 3 windows. And we've been slowly, the 2 older players that we have sold, obviously Almiron and Locales and that will be about 26, 27. So I'm a little bit, I know we're a bit delayed, but I think we are acting like a big club. And part of being acting like a big club is spending responsibly and selling responsibly, which we're doing now. So I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to give it the time that it deserves, to be honest. Davey Eddie, so your lineup, Davey Eddie, is Dubs, and thank you for sending this through, Davey. Dubs, Tino, Shaw, Burn, Hall. Okay, so you're keeping them. Tonali, Bruno, Joe Linton. So you think Joe Linton's fit? Okay, Murphy, Isak, and Gordon. So the same team. Okay, I hope Joe Linton's fit. I think Joe Linton hopes he's fit. Mighty Mag, I've put 3-1 win in my prediction. Fingers crossed. I would love that. I would love that scoreline. Our 2 centre backs are 34. Yeah. I know. Our centre back pairing. If Botman didn't get his cruciate ligament, and if Parish wasn't foolish with the pricings, it looks like Ornstein said that we actually had a 65 million bid for him in the summer. I think Craig Hope said 50. So we'll go from somewhere in the middle. But our backline, what I'm trying to say is our backline could have been Botman, Gahey, Hall, and Shaw. That's very different, right? Pace, power, mobility, agility, on the ball, aerial strength as well is very, very different to what we've got at the moment. But as the fates have it, thankfully Botman is back, but we still need that right centre back as well. So we're not too far from getting our ideal backup line. And look, we weren't too far from getting James Trafford over the line as well. So look how he's turned out to be as well. So hopefully we'll get him in the summer too. We're not too far from getting the team that we want at this stage. Mighty Mag, see you later, John Boy. See you later. Oh, and also John Boy, that's me out now, Philip. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good show, mate. So, guys, my prediction for this game is 2-1 Newcastle United. I think the players are going to put this. I think the Fulham performance is going to end up being a blessing in disguise. I think the atmosphere, St. James Park atmosphere, is going to be electric. It's going to be PSG levels atmosphere. I think the meaning of what this game means, again, going to the semi-final, we're 2-0 up, potential another Wembley trip, is gonna, the motivation is there. Everybody's gonna want to play. You don't want to be the player. You don't want to be the player that is not being able to get into this game. It's going to mean too much. And I think Newcastle get it over the line. I think Isak, Gordon. I think like Liam Knowles suggested, we set up in the mid block, we hit them on the break, and we do absolute damage. The fans scream at every tackle. They cheer every corner kick, every throw on in the final third, every last ditch tackle. The boys are just out for it, and they just want to. they just want to they want to succeed. They want to succeed in this game. So I back Newcastle to win this game 2-1. Guys, I've seen a lot of positive scorelines as well, and I'm just looking forward to it. I'm just absolutely looking forward to it. Got a couple more comments here. Mighty Mag has, hi Philip, you didn't mention Wilson to score. He wants to be on the. I didn't, Wilson, it's 1-1. It's 89 minutes to go. Erdegaard's 1-on-1 with the keeper. He misses. Dubravka saves it. It bounces back to Burn. Burn gives a long ball of a lifetime. It's Wilson chests it down. He shrugs off Gabriel Magalhaes, chips it over the goalkeeper, and it's 2-1 to the Toon. Callum Wilson celebrates, and while he celebrates, goodness, I'm going to say something else. He doesn't do that, and we win the game 2-1. How about that? How about that, Mighty Man? Final comment of the night. Davey Eddie, Philip, is Gahey free at the end of... No, he's not. He has a year left. Himself and Trafford would be lovely in the summer. I agree. He's got a year left. He runs out in 2026, but it's a year left. Palace have to sell. He's not signing a new contract. Trafford's got another year or so left. I think Burnley will probably go up as well. But I think my understanding from the articles is that he's very, very open to the Newcastle move. So having them both would be incredible. Guys, we've gone through Newcastle news. We've talked about the new stadium. We've talked about what even Guardiola said about modern football and how Newcastle are playing modern football. We gave a review of the Fulham game. That was scary. But then we also talked about this Arsenal game and what the atmosphere is going to be like tomorrow. That we're going to give them that PSG vibe atmosphere. The crowd is going to be cheering every goal. We gave our predictions. A lot of them were positive, including my own. I think Newcastle win 2-1. Mighty Mag, thank you again for the comment. I appreciate you guys for being here with me. It's nearly midnight. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, I look forward to see the game tomorrow. As always, folks, look after each other. Have a great evening, and God bless, folks.